Hey guys, before we get started on drawing the brachial plexus on the arm, I want to talk about the brachial plexus on paper. This is a two-dimensional image, which is really hard for students to visualize because they can't see it three-dimensionally in the actual arm. So this helps you learn how to memorize everything and where it's all at, but it doesn't really help you conceptualize where things are and what muscles are innervated by which nerves. So let's talk about this first. The colors are for a reason. I did Roy G. Biv because I wanted you to be able to see where they start and where they end. So let's start at the very top. The brachial plexus is broken into roots, trunks, divisions, cords, and branches. Depending on an injury or where we're talking about in the brachial plexus is when we relate back to where these individual things are. For example, the dorsal scapular nerve and then the long thoracic nerve from C5, C6, C7 start at the root, whereas the terminal branches of the musculocutaneous, ulnar, radial, median nerve, they're all in the branches of the brachial plexus. So I just wanted to give you a visualization with color coordinated of how it flows together, because it's really hard for students to visualize and understand that one nerve doesn't just come from one thing and that's the end of it. Our brachial plexus is very complex, so the red is showing that it comes from C5 originally. It goes to the musculocutaneous nerve. It also sometimes goes to the median nerve. It also comes down here in the division to be able to come to the axillary and radial nerve. Similarly for C6, C6 is orange. It goes off to the musculocutaneous. It goes to the median. It also comes down here on this division, and it goes to the axillary and radial. The axillary nerve is made up from C5, 6, and 7. C7 is green. You can see at this division it actually goes up and can be a part of the innervation for the musculocutaneous and the median nerve. Down here, C8, the blue one, you can follow it up. The blue comes up. T1 does not come up in any division, so it's only these guys. So C8 comes up in this division, and then you can see that C8, the root of it, it travels all the way to the radial nerve. C8 and T1, they both come together. They go up to innervate the median nerve, and then they also go down to make up the ulnar nerve. So this is where it comes into play that the brachial plexus is complex because it's not one specific thing that goes one specific place. So I just wanted to emphasize that. Now I am going to draw the brachial plexus on my arm. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to use my right hand to draw on my left arm. I don't have anyone else to draw it on, so I'm going to draw it on myself, so I apologize. It might not be as perfect as I had hoped for. So let me just do some rearranging. Okay. So I have 5 different colors here because we're going to draw just the branches of the brachial plexus. We describe the branches of the brachial plexus as MARMU. MARMU stands for M, musculocutaneous, A for axillary, R for radial, M for median, and U for ulnar. So I'm going to be drawing those 5 terminal branches of the brachial plexus on the arm. Based on this drawing, you will be able to see where the nerve runs and make a better clinical decision of where and what muscles are being innervated by which nerve. Okay, so I am going to stick with ulnar being green, median being blue, and radial being pink. I'm not sure how the orange is going to show up, so I'm going to draw this one as we can start with musculocutaneous. We'll make musculocutaneous orange. So I'm going to actually draw, I'm referring to my whiteboard over here. So this is going to be C5. Pink is going to be C6. C7, I wanted to keep, well, I said I wanted to keep pink. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'll just draw. So C5, C6, C7. C8 and T1. Oh, I'm so sorry. I need green. All my whiteboard markers here and everything as well, so. Okay. So this right here is representing the brachial plexus coming out of my spinal cord and going underneath my clavicle bone. It goes underneath the clavicle bone and then goes and innervates the upper extremity. So that is what that is representing. So let's start with orange. Orange, the musculocutaneous, is going to come down, and the musculocutaneous, and I'm going to try to write. I'm just going to put musculo for musculocutaneous. The musculocutaneous innervates the upper arm. So remember, we described this part as the arm. This part of our arm is the forearm, the wrist, and the hand. So the musculocutaneous nerve comes from up here and goes into the upper arm. Let's do... Oh, I attached... That's because I was being silly. Let's do... I want to do median, radial, and ulnar last. So we did musculocutaneous. Let's do axillary. So axillary comes kind of from the posterior. It goes down. I can't draw down my back. But it goes to the posterior delts and teres minor. Gotta see here. It comes to the middle delt. And it comes to the anterior delt. So this is, I'm going to put AX for axillary. This is the axillary nerve. So the axillary nerve, based on our brachial plexus, is on the posterior cord, which means it runs behind. And that should make sense. It goes behind and it innervates things on the back side of your back. Okay, so now we got musculocutaneous and axillary out of the way. Those ones are kind of the upper portion and the posterior part. Let's go to the median nerve. I'm going to keep the median nerve as blue. So the median nerve comes. It comes out of the brachial plexus. It comes down. It goes into the cubital fossa. It comes down into the carpal tunnel, and it goes into the hand. So this is the median. Okay, so it comes out from the brachial plexus. It goes down. It does not innervate anything in the upper arm. Let me actually grab another marker. Don't really want to use a Sharpie. It comes through the cubital fossa, and it goes down the forearm. In the forearm is where the median nerve starts. I know you can't see my face. Is where the median nerve starts innervating things. It continues down. It should be connected here. That was just my mistake. It comes down into the hand and then innervates the thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger. Digits 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Got the median nerve out of the way. The median nerve is a lot of therapists' favorite nerve because it is responsible for a lot of movement on the forearm and your main 3 fingers. When you do like fine motor, you hold a pencil, things like that. So it typically is OT's favorite nerve. Let's do the ulnar nerve next because I think we're going to struggle a little bit with the radial nerve. So the ulnar nerve, sorry, I'm just checking back on my drawing. The ulnar nerve comes, and actually comes from underneath. Don't mind my arms. So it comes from underneath. Pretend that's connected. It goes through the cubital tunnel. This area in your elbow is the cubital tunnel. When you hit your funny bone and you have that weird sensation, that's because you've hit your ulnar nerve. So it comes down like this on the side of your forearm. Sorry. Trying to make it all connect. I'm going to label it. This is your ulnar nerve. Your ulnar nerve comes from the brachial plexus behind the arm through the cubital fossa in your elbow, up the ulnar side of your arm into your hand, and then it innervates the 4th and 5th digits, your ring finger and your pinky finger. So together, the median nerve and the ulnar nerve come together to make innervations on the palmar side of the hand. The ulnar nerve also does not innervate anything super duper important in the arm, but it starts innervating things below the elbow. Just grab this. Okay, now the radial nerve. The radial nerve is super cool, but because it's on the posterior cord, the radial nerve genuinely goes posteriorly. So I know I can't connect it. Oh, it's not supposed to be pink. Oh, it is supposed to be pink. I'm going to make it purple. The radial nerve is genuinely posterior. I'm going to do my best to try to draw it the way it should come. So it comes out of the brachial plexus. It goes around the shaft of the humerus. And it innervates the posterior side of the forearm. It innervates, these are my triceps, I know, you can kind of see it. Innervates the triceps, comes around, innervates the posterior portion of the arm. Let's put radial. And then it does some posterior portions of the hand. Let's just see. And I'm going to come back to the rest of the hand. So, radial nerve goes posteriorly because it's on the posterior cord. I know it's kind of wonky. Remember we talked about if you have a mid-humerus fracture, sometimes the radial nerve is affected and then you get that radial palsy because it innervates everything on the posterior forearm, which are extensors, so your wrist is not able to extend. So the radial nerve comes out on the posterior side, innervates the triceps. It does do the triceps. We'll put a check there. It's a horrible check. It's really hard to draw on yourself. Innervates the triceps, does everything posteriorly. So right here, this big muscle here, this is your brachioradialis, your beer drinking muscle. It's what flexes and extends the elbow so that you can flex and extend this way. Biceps do this way. You can see my bicep. To do it this way is a brachioradialis. The brachioradialis is innervated by the radial nerve. So again, everything posterior of the arm. The arm supinates and pronates. So you have to be careful that you know what you're looking at, whether it's supinated or pronated. So it does everything on the posterior side that's an extensor. Remember, flexion is the median and ulnar nerve. They do flexion. The radial nerve does extension. Okay. So the radial nerve comes, it innervates a portion of the posterior of the thumb, index, and middle finger, digits 1, 2, and 3. And then the ulnar nerve comes and makes a little branch off and also comes posteriorly and innervates the ring and pinky finger. You can see here's the ulnar nerve. It went to the palmar portion of the hand. It's now on the dorsal portion of the hand. Up here at the top, the top of the fingers, the median nerve comes over, boop, and it innervates the top of the fingers. So knowing where the nerves are that when they come out of the brachial plexus, whether it goes anteriorly or posteriorly, so the axillary and radial are posterior, the median, ulnar, and musculocutaneous are anterior, knowing where those go, and then following them down the arm will give you a good idea of where things are being innervated. So I just want to show you, it kind of got a little bit hectic here. We started with musculocutaneous, came out of the brachial plexus, innervates the forearm, or the biceps, the arm portion. It does coracobrachialis, brachialis, and the biceps brachii. Then we did axillary. Axillary does your delts, anterior, middle, posterior, and does teres minor, so it goes posterior. We did median. Median comes straight down the middle of the arm, does not innervate anything in the arm, goes through the cubital fossa, starts innervating things below the elbow, goes into the hand, and innervates the thumb, the index finger, and the middle finger. We then did the ulnar, which this should be connected. It kind of goes down behind, goes through that cubital tunnel, and then goes up the ulnar side of the arm, and it innervates the palmar side of the ring finger and the pinky finger. We'll just keep that for now. And then we did the radial nerve. The radial nerve comes out, it goes posteriorly. It innervates things on the posterior side. It does triceps. It goes around. It does everything on the posterior side of the arm, including the biceps, brachioradialis, because radialis is in the name. And then it comes to the posterior portion of the hand. The ulnar nerve, it breaks off and it goes anteriorly into the anterior portion of the hand, posterior into the posterior portion of the hand. The radial nerve stays on the posterior side. The median nerve goes and it does the tips of the fingers. So that is the brachial plexus. If you can follow it down the arm, you have a really good clinical judgment of what muscle and where the nerve is going. It is really hard when you are looking at a two-dimensional image to make that clinical judgment. Just remember that the divisions are purposeful. Nothing that we do is not purposeful. So the divisions, they are anterior, posterior, anterior, posterior, posterior, anterior, and that is for a reason. We also have the chords, which are medial, lateral, and posterior. So this will be medial. That's why the ulnar nerve is on the medial cord. This is posterior. That's why the radial is on the posterior. And then this is the, the lateral cord. And that is why musculocutaneous and median are on the lateral portion of the brachial plexus. So that's the brachial plexus and how to draw it. And I hope this helps you, and good luck.